Found dead. That's how the wrestling world learned about Curt Hennig on February 10th, 2003. The man known as Mr. Perfect was discovered lifeless in a Florida hotel room at just 44 years old. The cause? Acute cocaine intoxication. But this shocking end was just the final chapter in a life that proved anything but perfect. Curtis Hennig built his career on the illusion of perfection. He was technically brilliant, charismatic, and beloved by fans across multiple promotions. The American Wrestling Association, World Wrestling Federation, and World Championship Wrestling all showcased his talents. He held the AWA World Heavyweight Championship and became a two-time WWF Intercontinental Champion with the longest reign of the 1990s. Peers called him one of the most complete performers wrestling had ever seen. But behind the flawless facade lurked a man whose life was crumbling. Despite all his talent, Hennig never captured a major world championship in WWF or WCW. His body betrayed him repeatedly. His personal demons consumed him, and his behavior became increasingly erratic and destructive. The first crack in his perfect image came in August 1991 when he suffered a devastating back injury. His tailbone was broken and he had bulging discs. This wasn't just a minor setback, it was career-altering. The injury forced him to withdraw from SummerSlam 1991, where he was supposed to defend his Intercontinental Championship. Instead of wrestling, he became an executive consultant and color commentator. The injury got worse in 1993, keeping him away from the ring even longer. He missed the Survivor Series that year. For a man whose entire identity was built on physical perfection, being unable to perform was devastating. But Hennig's response to this setback revealed his questionable judgment. He secured a Lloyd's of London insurance policy to protect against further back injuries. The policy came with a substantial payout, but it essentially meant he shouldn't return to wrestling. Any reasonable person would have stayed retired and collected the money. But Hennig wasn't reasonable. When WCW offered him a guaranteed contract in 1997 that was more attractive than his insurance payout, he jumped at it. This decision had consequences beyond just his personal finances. Reports suggest that Lloyd's of London stopped insuring wrestlers altogether because of cases like Hennig's. He prioritized short-term financial gain over long-term health and industry stability. His WCW run exposed more character flaws. He joined the prestigious Four Horsemen stable, but quickly betrayed them during a War Games match, turning on his teammates to join the New World Order. This wasn't strategic storytelling. It was Hennig being unreliable and self-serving. The NWO quickly kicked him out anyway. Next came the West Texas Rednecks, a country music-themed group that recorded "Rap is Crap." The song was supposed to make fans hate them, but Southern audiences loved it instead. The gimmick backfired completely, showing how out of touch Hennig was with the fan base. WCW quickly abandoned the storyline, leaving Hennig with another failed project. Throughout his WCW tenure, Hennig was shuffled between factions without any clear direction. He couldn't maintain consistent momentum or develop a coherent character. For someone who claimed to be perfect, he was remarkably ineffective at managing his own career trajectory. But his most damaging behavior was yet to come. On May 4, 2002, during a chartered flight back from a WWE UK tour, Hennig's true nature was exposed. The plane had an open bar, and many wrestlers were drinking heavily. Hennig, known for his pranks, decided to smear shaving cream on rookie Brock Lesnar's head and smack it down. This wasn't harmless fun. It escalated into a physical fight that damaged overhead bins and occurred dangerously close to an emergency exit row. Jim Ross called it a play fight, but it was serious enough to endanger everyone on the plane. Vince McMahon was so disgusted with Hennig's behavior that he fired him immediately. The incident became known as the plane ride from hell and resulted in a lawsuit from flight attendants. WWE settled out of court, but the damage to Hennig's reputation was permanent. At 43 years old, he had destroyed his relationship with the biggest wrestling company in the world over a stupid prank. This behavior wasn't an isolated incident. Hennig had been battling substance abuse for years. He was known to appear intoxicated at wrestling events multiple times. His father later confirmed that cocaine, painkillers, and steroids all played roles in his son's death. This was a man spiraling out of control, using multiple substances to cope with his pain and disappointment. The wrestling industry's physical demands certainly contributed to his problems. Chronic pain from his back injuries likely led to painkiller dependence. But many wrestlers face similar challenges without destroying their lives. Hennig's choices were his own, and they were consistently poor ones. After WWE fired him, Hennig worked for the smaller TNA promotion. He challenged for championships but couldn't win any. His final match was on January 8, 2003, against David Flair in an axe handle on a pole match. Even his last victory was in a gimmicky low-stakes contest. Just over a month later, on February 10, 2003, hotel staff found Hennig dead in Brandon, Florida. The Hillsborough County medical examiner determined he died from acute cocaine intoxication. His father revealed that painkillers and steroids likely contributed to his death as well. This was the culmination of years of substance abuse and poor decision-making. The man who built his career on perfection died alone in a hotel room from a drug overdose. He was 44 years old, with so much talent wasted and so many opportunities squandered. His death was entirely preventable, the result of choices that prioritized temporary relief over long-term health and stability. Hennig never sought formal addiction treatment for his alcohol, painkiller, or steroid abuse. He had resources and support systems available, but chose not to use them. His pride and denial ultimately cost him everything. The wrestling world mourned his passing, but they were mourning what he could have been, not what he actually was. His talent was undeniable, but his character was deeply flawed. He was inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame in 2007, and his children Joseph and Amy continued the family wrestling tradition. His son even took the name Curtis Axel to honor both his father and grandfather. But these posthumous honors couldn't erase the reality of Hennig's life. Behind the Mr. Perfect persona was a man who consistently made imperfect choices. His legacy serves as a cautionary tale about the difference between public image and private reality. True perfection isn't about athletic ability or charisma. It's about character, integrity, and the wisdom to overcome personal demons. Curt Hennig had every advantage in life, but threw it all away. His story reminds us that talent without character is ultimately meaningless, and that the pursuit of perfection can become a prison when it's built on lies.